are personally invited, my friend. Lions and lionesses, it's that time of year where we get focused, where other people lose focus and take a couple steps backwards, we do the opposite. You see, complacency is a real threat to us all. And it's diabolical because it works slowly and silently, going undetected for the vast majority of the world. But not us. We are vigilant. And most of all, we care. We care, and we want to live greatly, have no regrets, and make our world a little better for those we love, serve, and appreciate. That is what the Summer Burst Challenge is all about. You see, what I learned years ago, and I see it all the time now, is a pattern. There's even scientific studies looking at this pattern, and it's what I call burst theory. Burst theory is this phenomenon where people will experience more progress, a quantum leap of growth and improvement in a short period of time. For example, some people will make more money in 1 year than they did in the previous 12 years. I've seen this again and again and again. When it comes to training, what I noticed was I started doing these transformation challenges because I saw it in a magazine, and they would get these incredible results for people because there was a start and end date, and there was an incentive, a very clear goal. And for us, we have an incentive, but what I found is the people that sign up for the incentive, for the big prize, tend to fail because they don't have a big enough reason to do it. But when you do it to be your best, to feel your best, to give your best to the world so you can live greatly with no regrets, now you're working from the inside out, not the outside in. You see, motivation is outside information, messaging that is changing how you feel. But self-mastery, which is the gateway to living greatly, comes from within. All I need is within me now. We've all heard that old phrase, and we love it. But most of us don't truly believe it, because to believe it, you must live it. So how do you change your beliefs? First of all, one belief can change everything. You've heard me say that many times, but it's true. What we want to do is change your beliefs about your body, about who you are as a person, your self-image, your identity, because that is what makes you do what you do. When you start to forge this identity, and you can be whatever you want to be, you can be any type of person, but most of us don't know that, and most of us don't realize that it's possible. We think we were born a certain way, and that's just how it is, but it's not true. And if you're here and you're listening to this, you know this. You're the type of person that gets it. You know that you can change your life. You can change your environment. You can change your circumstance. In fact, you are the creator of your circumstance, and everything in your world is created by the 3 pillars of creation. Your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. And that has been taught from ancient times. I love to read old books and text, and now more and more are becoming available. And what you find is that there are laws of the universe. There are what I call lion laws, and they apply to everyone. They are the laws of nature. That's what they are. And when you study the body and you find people have different challenges, and you care and you want to make a difference, you start looking everywhere. You look under the rug. You look behind the refrigerator, so to speak. And what you find is the answers are all there. But it only occurs when we're in these focused states, these states of saying, this is the most important thing from this date to this date, or until I achieve this goal, whatever it is. I like to look at it as a season. Each day is a game in the season. So what if you knew how to keep score? What if you knew, I need to summon the line, I need to train. I got my program, I know to do that. I also need to walk. I need to get a certain number of steps. Oh, I also need to hydrate. That's great. I'm already drinking, so I might as well do it right and optimize, right? I also need to eat in a certain way. if I want to hit this goal. And sleep is important. So I should do my best to go to sleep and wake up at about the same time to make my body feel secure and ready and prepared to keep it out of survival mind. That's what we want to do. But when you go in these states of focus, that leads to a burst of progress. And so while there is a really cool incentive and prize for when you submit your results after the challenge, I'm not going to tell you what it is. The first step is to decide if this is right for you. Are you willing to make this a priority for 12 weeks, from June 9th to September 1st? Will you give your best? Because if you do, it will be worth it. Because when you transform, and it's not about the way you look, your body is simply a reflection of your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Your most dominant thoughts and beliefs, feelings and emotions, and actions and inactions. Really let that sink in, because we can get overwhelmed in life. But when you simplify life to what actually you can command and control, those three things, thoughts, feelings, and actions, life gets simple and you become very powerful. And the word power means your ability to act, your ability to influence. That's what that means. It's not this word that, it's often used, but it's not understood, I think, in this context. So when you realize that, these three pillars of creation are love, caring, like, hey, I care about my body, I care about my health, I care about being, feeling, and giving my best. That's heart. Then head, that's your focus. If you can't control your focus, you're not going to be able to sustain the activity that creates it. So heart, head, and hands. This is ancient text. So this is, heart is caring, head is your focus, and hands is action. That's what that is. And so this challenge, this summer burst challenge, is about you being, feeling, and giving your best. And will your body change? Yes, and that's awesome, but don't make it about that. I know that sounds crazy, but appreciate your body because it's a gift. And whenever you honor it and you do these certain things in a certain way, you will lose fat, you will sustain and add lean body mass, but you'll build bone density, you'll improve your lab work. All these things are important. You're gonna become healthier and more vital. Remember that, like every rep makes you a little better, makes you a little stronger, like makes you a little healthier and more vital. And so when you start to affirm these things, you start to link up pleasure and progress with these daily actions. And that's how you create habits. So I would like to invite you to the Summer Burst Transformation Challenge. There'll be a link here that you go to, and there's a pledge. And there's a reason for this. Everything we do here has a reason. I don't do anything randomly. Random actions produce no results in the long run. They're constantly one step forward and one or more steps back. So if you're serious about this and you're willing to do the work and to honor your body and to honor your mind and to intentionally and intelligently challenge it for these next 12 weeks and to make a burst of progress, then I invite you. Fill out the pledge and then you'll get more details. But let me kind of give you an overview of what's to come. This is a 12-week challenge, and the first phase is 8 weeks. And so during those 8 weeks, we're going to do the Fire Fuel Nutrition System. So when you accept the challenge, you will receive this whole nutrition system, which is worth a couple $1,000s. And what it is you go on there and it's simplified. It's not like you have to consume hours and hours of video content and stuff. There's one video and it explains exactly how to calculate your calories, protein, carbs, and fats. It's exactly what I learned from going to school and working with all kinds of bodybuilders and fitness competitors early in my career. But it's a 42-minute video and you will learn all that. If you learn that and you put it into action, it will set you up for success. It works 100% of the time. But there's a second part to this. One, that's how you set up a nutrition plan. You're already training, you already have an optimal training system. Now you add the nutrition with it. This is where the magic happens. Now, that first phase, what's going to happen is you're going to do great with it, but it's based off of athletics. Like, how does an athlete eat? because you're an athlete. You are a performer. You are a high performer. Whether you acknowledge that or not, that's what you are. You are a heart-driven leader that is focused on peak performance. And this is how you fuel that. This is for energy and performance. And if your goal is fat loss, there's a formula for that. If your goal is to maintain where you're at, there's a formula for that. If your goal is to add lean muscle mass, there's a formula for that. But wherever you start where you feel confident. And then if you have questions on it, just ask me. But you also need the results tracking system, because every nutrition plan works for 2 to 3 weeks, and then your body adapts to that stress. And then you have to make adjustments. And so that's where people mess up. They'll start a diet, they'll start eating, they make progress, then they're like, oh, it's not working, maybe there's something wrong with me, oh, I don't know why. And then they'll start just doing more randomly. And there's not a strategy to it, and then they often overdo it, and they get injured, they get tweaked, or they get more frustrated than ever, and then just give up for a bit. And then they'll start again later on. But you need a tracking system. So you'll receive the Fire Fuel Nutrition System with done-for-you menus. You'll learn actually how to build a nutrition plan. And you're gonna learn how to personalize and customize it, because you need data to customize things. And it's actually quite simple when you learn it and you live it. The key to changing this and mastering it is to learn it and then put it into action and reap the rewards, and then you actually know a thing. A lot of people learn things, but they don't know it. Does that make sense? So the first 8 weeks is the Fire Fuel Nutrition System. Then we can reassess. And maybe you're just doing so great, you're like, all right, but we want to do an advanced fat burning phase, but it's also a fat cell detox. So it is what most people don't realize is we're inundated with toxins. Our body can clear them if you give it what it needs. But a lot of times we're not doing that. So that last 4 weeks is going to be a fat cell detox. We're going to be stripping fat. With that, toxins are going to come out. So we want to make sure they're bound and removed. They just don't float around there and make us feel not so good. So that's the ultimate fat burning strategy. This is a very successful protocol that I had over 2 decades of constantly updating. So this is the updated version. And there's considerations for both men and women in this, and also whatever your goal is. So keep that in mind. But I won't go too far down the rabbit hole in this. I could talk about this forever because I love it. But I also want to talk about something else. After these 12 weeks, there's a danger, because people, if you don't have a plan, you just fall off and you go, and then you lose everything you gain. So after a burst, you have a different type of program. And this is the perfect time to focus on cognitive enhancement. Like a protocol of like, hey, what nutrients, how do you eat to support cognitive enhancement? And we'll do that for 4 weeks after that too. I'm just telling you that to plant the seed, so you're not like, what's next? Because our brains, we as high achievers, like to think about the future. And so I'm giving that to you, and then I will give you more of it. But right now, just focus on these steps. The next 8 weeks, Fire Fuel Nutrition System. We'll reassess, and then likely you'll do the ultimate fat burning strategy and fat cell detox, and then go into a cognitive enhancement protocol. And you're gonna learn the science of all this, the latest research. And these are the things that, if you really wanna help people, do it for yourself. Learn it, and then do it, and then make adjustments, and realize when you share it, be a guide about it. And what I mean by that is, don't just say this is the one way to do it. There's like, how do I know how to make adjustments? How do I know these things? It's because I've done it with so many people. And so just say like, hey, this is what I did, and this is how it worked for me. And then you can make suggestions. I'm just sharing with you because I know you all are like me, and you're here to serve. So we don't want to turn people off. We want to gently influence them, plant a seed, and then let them take it from there. Make sense? I got that. I know I've got several questions about that. That's why I brought that up. But the other thing you're going to get is, besides the actual nutrition systems and the protocols and obviously your training, is the results tracking system we talked about. So you know how to personalize, customize your protocol, and also a checklist. And the checklist makes it clear. You know exactly what to do to win the day, to win the week, to win the 12 weeks. So, and what I mean by win, it's making progress. It's about, and a big part of that is saying you're going to do something and then following through. And I really want you to hear this, because we're optimistic for the most part, right? Especially when we're younger. And then we learn. And then sometimes we can become cynical and too skeptical, and then we don't take enough risk. And so there's a balance to all things. But every time you say you're going to do something and you don't follow through, you don't keep your promise to yourself, a little piece of you dies. A little piece of your identity is ripped away from you. What is that? Why is that? How's that work? Well, your subconscious mind records everything. Every bit of information that's been in your field, your sensory field of your 5 senses, is recorded on the hard drive. But we don't have access to it all the time. It's like when you open your computer and you have all these files in there, they're not open, and so you don't see them. You see whatever you're looking at. That's the conscious mind. And then all the other information in the background that's not in front of you is the subconscious mind. Now, when the subconscious records all this, the important thing to remember is it remembers every time you said you were going to do something and you didn't do it. Now, we're the type of people that do a lot of what we say, but sometimes we don't. So just be careful when you make a promise to yourself or to others. Because if you did this with other people and you said, oh, I'll be there at 6 o'clock, and then you're not there at 6 o'clock, people just don't believe you anymore. They're like, they're going to be late, or maybe they won't even show, And so, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying this is the principle. And so be really clear, like, hey, I'm really going to do this. So if you're not going to do it, don't sign the pledge, don't do that, because I don't want this to have negative repercussions. Maybe it's not good timing for you, whatever it is. We'll do it again another time, but just keep that in mind. It is really important. I want to help you. I don't want to hurt you. So if you say you're going to do it and you sign that pledge, this is real. Take the action, honor your word. And if you do that, you will expand your identity. You'll reap the rewards. You'll see it and you'll feel it in your body. But most of all, make sure when you say something that it is done. There's an old Aramaic word, abracadabra. Like I heard it on Scooby-Doo when I was a kid in the Flintstones. I never knew what it meant. I just thought it was a weird sound. But what it actually means when you look at the definition is, as I speak, I create. As I speak, it is already done. And I just love that. But we got to honor our word. So I don't want to make you feel bad if this isn't the right time for you. You're free to do it. I don't judge anybody about this stuff. I understand that there's other things going on in your life. But at some point, you want to do this. You want to have a burst of progress so you can make a transformation where you put this stuff on autopilot. Like, I do not need to think about drinking water each day. I do not need to think about training each day. I do not need to focus on getting enough protein. I just do it at this stage, and it's beautiful. But a lot of people don't realize that there's a stage where it's habitual, where you don't need to think very much about it. It's just part of who you are, and that's where I want you to get to. So it's not only, it's like what people need to understand is it takes a lot of energy to transform. But once you transform mentally, emotionally, physically, and you access the spirit, the true self, the higher self, this is on autopilot. So if that's what you want, I invite you to do this challenge. And the challenge is time efficient, it's joint friendly, it's results driven, it's energy enhancing, it's gonna make you live longer and stronger, and I want that for you, and I'm sure the people around you do too. You're awesome. But go to the link, sign the pledge, and you'll get more details after that. Let's do this. You tap into the real you. But you have to retrain yourself. The way you retrain yourself is you wake your ass up in the morning and you say, I am here for a reason and a purpose. And it's bigger than my moods. It's bigger than the difficulties of the day. I am here to live like a lion, not the fear of a lamb.